channel. So we're gonna get started on this Sunday afternoon. Draining the fuel out of it. I decided I'm just not gonna leave the fuel in it while we're working on it, because this thing could be down, you know, what, a month or so, maybe. I don't know. So we're draining the fuel out of it. I've got our valve under here that makes this super easy. Let me show you how I did this. So all we have is, you know, a ball valve, AN fitting that goes to NPT, you know, then goes to a ball valve, goes through the sun drop bottle and into the X85L. So this is the racing fuel that we were running in the car and that we are running in the car, for anybody that was curious. So this is almost done draining. I know we had a full 5 gallons in this, and then I think this one's gonna be about a half. I think we had about 7 or 8 gallons left in it at the time that it took a crap. It is a 15-gallon fuel cell. So I'm gonna let this finish draining out. Lost the cap for this one, so I'm gonna get this taped up and get this closed up, and then we'll move on to the front. I think that's about the end right there. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start taking some of this stuff off this front end real fast. I'm gonna throw y'all in a time lapse. We're gonna get some of this front end broke down while the sun's still setting. I can enjoy this wind and cool breeze through here. And I do got to get the water dropped out of this thing, and then we will get this closed up, AC on, and then we will get some lights, and I'll get the valve cover off and show y'all kind of where we're at. Making progress, voila. So it's not bad at all taking the front of this car apart. I built this thing where it can purposely not be aggravating if you have to pull the motor out of it, because that'd probably be my least favorite. And at the time I figured if you're having to pull the motor out, you're probably pissed off, so you probably don't want to be angry. It would have went twice as fast if I was using the impact gun. First off, just zip everything out. Harper was taking a bath and time to go to bed, so I'm trying not to be out here pounding on the impact. So I do a lot of stuff by hand here at the house, and I definitely try not to put everything back together with the impact, because I don't want to bust loose any nutserts or anything like that. I was about to yank the blower off, but I figured I wanted to show y'all one thing. So I kind of want to, since we got this far down, as we can go over problems, I kind of want to go ahead and we talk and discuss, you know, things that I didn't like, issues that we had on the dyno, issues we had at TKM, and things that over the past 2 months of thrashing to get this thing running, kind of things that I realized that we're going to change this go around. So let's flip the camera around, let's get at it. All right, first off, before I get this blower off, this is the issue that we were having with the pulley. So as you can see on the back side, the pulley had hit. Now, the grinding noise that you can hear, that's inside the pulley. That's the gears itself. So this pulley's actually not hitting anymore. It has self clearanced itself, but you can see the dust, how close it is. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and trace this on this bracket where it hits, because it just hits just in these little spots right here. And then when we take this bracket off, we're gonna clearance the bracket to clear the pulley. So you might have the same issue if you go with one of these Grip Tech pulleys, I'm not sure. We definitely do not want to shim this washer out, and we don't want to grind anything on the pulley or on the Procharger. So this gap between here is kind of hard to see. Mike was concerned about, everybody was concerned about this gap on the dyno, and I was trying to explain to everybody that each of these holes have bosses in them. So you can see right there, it's pulled up tight to the blower. You know, you can see the bosses where the bolt goes through, but you're gonna have that little gap there. So we don't wanna modify anything that can mess with the alignment. So this bracket's so thick, the easiest thing to do is just gonna be to clearance this bracket. So obviously our water pump that failed on us, I've been back and forth about if I'm gonna change it to the BMW pump or not. This is our unit, so if you're new to the channel, You might recognize this. This looks like a, like a Chevrolet big block one that goes in the front of the motor, or a small block Ford, or well, I think small block Ford, same thing, whatever. It's the water pump that goes on one of them older small blocks, that goes straight in that style. We have flipped the legs around, welded AN fittings on it, and basically had, your inlet that comes in there. I believe this is inlet or outlet, pretty sure it's inlet. And then, or maybe this is the inlet coming from the motor. Anyway, you had one going in or out, and then you had two coming in or out, whichever way. So both of these that came out of here, though, because this is how this pump is built, this is designed, single to dual. And so I was on a budget, and I didn't know about the BMW pump there. So if I go and do the BMW pump, I'm definitely going to show y'all. But that's the reason why we have dual inlets on the front of the motor right here. I have an MMR special plate for this. That's a single, like, -20 inlet that goes in here. So I think we're going to switch back. So I kind of want to switch back to that, get rid of this dual. It's just less stuff to fill, and get an off-the-shelf BMW, pump, and then we'll mount it. We'll figure out where we're going to mount that at. So that's kind of another issue that we had is, the water pump failure, and then just two extra lines shoved up in there when it could just be one fat one. So just wanted to go over that real fast with y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and get this blower off, and then we'll talk about next step. All right, so got the blower off, got the alternator off. We're gonna do a little bit better job when we're at the shop this time also, cleaning all this up, because I did this at the house. So we're gonna finish cleaning these fins out of here. This is where your alternator snout sits up against, so you wanna make sure you get that grinded all down if you're doing this. But we're just gonna clean this face up a whole lot more this time. And it looks like we hit a little bit on something right here. So we'll go ahead and take a bunch of meat out of this right here this time also. We're gonna change the color of the motor. I mentioned that, that originally I had this brilliant idea that I was gonna do the copper colored motor, black and copper fittings on the lines, and it was gonna be amazing. I was gonna take it to Brown and Miller, have them plumb the whole entire car up in Charlotte, Concord area, and then bring it back, and then, it just eats up money. And this choice was excellent. So these are all Brown and Miller lines. Everything on the car pretty much is Brown and Miller, almost everything. Besides some coolant lines. That bigger one is, a cheaper eBay one, but all of these are Brown and Miller lines. It's like the Ultra Gold or Ultra Light or something. So being it ended up, as you can see, all of my fittings are blue. All of the fittings that we'll be getting in the future pretty much are blue. Every now and then we'll get a red one, but it's probably all gonna be blue. We're gonna paint the block the same color as this. So I have a pretty wicked blue already at the shop. So before this goes back in here, we're gonna paint the block blue. The springs ended up being blue. We're gonna discuss that in a minute, but that way the motor will match, springs, hoses, lines, all that stuff. So there's no reason to leave it copper since it's going to be out of the motor. Put a fresh paint job over it. So here's inside here what it looks like. Let's make sure this light is all the way bright. It's probably about to die. As you can see, we had a timing chain failure. So there's no more timing chain on that guy. She slid down in there somewhere, and see if I can see down in there any at all. You can't really. You can see the red MMR guides. I'm going to get them up at TKM to take some pictures of this stuff when they assemble it this time. A lot of them know I do YouTube. That way you guys can see the internals in this motor, because these are all custom cams. So these are L&M race engine cams, custom grinded blower cams, L&M race engines, lockouts. You can see right there. For the Coyote, it's labeled intake. So this is our intake side, is the one that the chain popped on, and this is our exhaust side. So the exhaust side does not move. That's what Sammy was trying to get to turn over with some pliers, in the video. I don't know if it's supposed to move or not. I have no freaking clue what he was checking for, but I guess he does. So if you look inside here, you can see that we have got some lovely pieces sitting up in here. So there's some of our failure parts. I'll try to see. I mean, they're laid all down in here. Let me see if I can get a rag or a towel or something to lay these things on. Top of this motor, one-handed. All right, so that looks like the majority of it. I don't know what else broke. Oh, let's see, there's one more wedge back here. Man, dude, this is crazy. Oh, it's actually stuck on there. Okay, so all of them sides right there, pretty much. Yeah, we'll just leave them in there. So we're not gonna be turning this thing over really or nothing. Well, I was gonna try to get them out, but they're all loose back in there. The ones that are still in there. So there's a bunch hanging up in there. There's a bunch that are just broken, slam off. But here is some of the carnage. So there's what we got. I mean, these are just split. Like some of them are split completely in half, you know, and then others are busted right there on that. I don't know enough about these to know how they mount or anything. I'm guessing I don't know. I don't know anything about these. I don't even want to say any wrong information, but y'all that know motors, you can probably look at this and tell where it broke. You know, obviously these things split in half. Some of them split in half. No, they all split right around here where the bearing is. That one looks like some of the needle bearings are just jacked all up. Okay, they're falling out, that's what it is. They're loose. I didn't know they were loose. I've never messed with none of this stuff, y'all. Man. But all the needle bearings are in that one, so hopefully there's not needle bearings down in there or nothing, but they'll find it. They're gonna tear it all apart and go through it. But yeah, that's what, I mean, that's what you can basically see, you know, is that cam right there is where everything went south. So there's a chain down in there somewhere. It was laying on there. It was laying across here. This chain across here was, the black piece was on there that pumps it up. And then you can watch that video where as soon as Brandon goes and like touches this, the chain falls down in there. So the chain's down in the motor, no big deal. We'll get it out, but figured I would just show y'all this afternoon real fast, you know, the carnage. So with that being said, where do we go from here? So I'm always very transparent with y'all. I don't mind admitting whenever I mess up or I make mistakes or anything like that. So I'll tell you straight up where we're at and where we're gonna go. So to get to this point where we're at now with the busted motor, over the past 2 months, I have spent about $8,000. That's what it has costed me to get to where I'm at. That is not including anything with the TKM trip. It was about $8,000 to get us to TKM for the last 2 months. So everybody that's OG to the channel, you know everything that I added, all the loose ends we tied up. It was fittings every time we turned around, you know, all kinds of little odds and ends to get us, you know, to where we're ready to go to TKM. That's race gear, that's everything. You know, I went ahead and bought brand new shoes, brand new helmets, brand new gloves, brand new fire socks, you know, everything, man. Fire suit, whole 9 yards. I went ahead and bought everything. So we got a little bit of debt. That was not cash flow. I've told y'all how I make the money to afford this car. And I've showed you how you can also make the same amount of money to afford a car like this. A card like this is not cheap. It's not nowhere near Randy's level. I'm not even probably half of Randy's level, I feel like. This is not a budget car. So if you want to do a budget build, it's going to be a LS, Fox body. It's not going to be a Coyote or a Maverick where you have to pretty much fab everything, order custom stuff, try stuff, change stuff, and you're definitely not going to do a Coyote. So the Coyotes are not cheap by any means. They're pretty expensive, so you have to be slightly stupid like I am to build a Coyote, especially to this level and not just a street cruiser. There's plenty of people that do Coyote swaps and just are street cruisers or little street vehicles with not, mostly stock Eternals, and you'll save yourself a ton of money. But when you do this, it takes a lot of money, so you have to be slightly stupid to do this to begin with. So $8,000 to get us 2 TKM, I owe that. So that's on my Discovery card. Good news, I get cash back on all of that. So the cash back on that literally pays for 1, if not 2 payments within itself. So that's pretty cool. But we kind of need to knock that thing down a little. So if you're on my Facebook, you have already seen where you already know that I closed my body shop. We're no longer doing work for the public. I kind of toned that down. You know why? It has to do with my business with the salvage cars. It's easier money. We've talked about it. You're OG to the channel. You know my life. If you're new to the channel, you need to stick around because I'm going to teach you how to make money, and I'm going to teach you how to do all this stuff. That's what this channel is all about. So I'm offering, because we blew up the motor, I'm offering to paint y'all's race cars for $1,800. That's single stage jobs. That's scuff and tape, what we call rape and tapes. Basically, when we take your car, we just scuff it. We're not fixing any body work. We're not fixing any peel and clear coat. We're not fixing any dents, dings, nothing. We're scuffing it down so the paint will adhere to it, and we are spraying a single stage on it. We're taping everything up. I had somebody on freaking Facebook comment that, oh, if you're doing, if you're slinging it for that cheap, why would you, and you're doing a race car, why would you not? Because I said jams are not included. They were like, why would you not do the door jams also? If you have removable doors, of course we're doing the freaking door jams. Like, I thought the world had common sense, but I guess they don't. So $1,800, no jams included. If you have normal weather stripping and normal steel doors and all that, if the door's not removable, we're not doing door jams. We're just taping everything. So that's my offer that I'm giving to any of y'all that have been looking to get your race car painted and you just want a good 10-15 footer that you're not afraid to scratch up or tear up. We can do pretty much any colored gloss. Like I said, you can prep it if you want prep work better. But I blew up my engine, you get a better deal. So all of them jobs will be nights and weekends, and if we do get any, nobody's really showed interest yet on Facebook. If we do get any, I'm going to teach y'all how you can also do single stage paint jobs yourself. So I will utilize that for the content for all of y'all that do want to paint your race car and you might not be near Wilmington, North Carolina, and you can't bring it to me, or you can't afford even the $1,800 to bring it to me, because I know some people are in really tight spots nowadays, and I fully get it. I've been there, lived that. But yeah, that's what we're doing for y'all. If anybody's interested, my email is always in the description, and you can hit me up and we can discuss the details for that. But with that said, what I wanted to do was I wanted to pay the debt that I've already stacked on this. I wanted to pay it kind of all down a little bit more before we pulled this out, order parts, and send this thing to TKM. But I think we're gonna be cool. So I think we're just gonna go ahead and order what we need for the motor. Everything we need for the motor, we're gonna go ahead and change the rods out. So Kevin and them was worried about the rods past 1,000 horsepower. Okay. They said they will easily make 11 to 13 whenever or at least it'll easily make 1,000, but it should make 11 to 13 once everything is dialed in and all the bugs are figured out. So we're living on borrowed time with the rods that we have in there now. So they're billet H-beams that are in there. I can't say the freaking name of them. It's like MOLNAR or something. I'm not even gonna try to stumble over it. Y'all probably know what it is. You're probably screaming at TV, but TKM did not like the rods. Now, I spent a lot of money when I originally got this thing put together. So just for what I spent at TKM, I think was 8 to 10,000 is what I spent at TKM the first time. I supplied most all of my parts. This motor is completely sleeved. I think whatever's decked or whatever, like there's a lot of stuff done to this motor. There's like 5 pages that they sent me of all of the stuff that's done to this motor. We will, when we go to pick this thing up this time after getting it built, we will run over with whoever up there that knows, that can explain what they did to the motor. Sammy, of course, is the one that I believe is going to be the one that actually assembles it. So maybe he can tell us what exactly has been done to my motor, since I don't know what I'm talking about. That way y'all can finally, know what's been done to it. But we're going to replace rockers, obviously. We've got to do 1 timing chain. So since we're going to do 1, I imagine we're going to go ahead and do all the timing chains to be safe. Just as a precaution. Kevin said to expect 1 or 2 bent valves, probably. Definitely probably a valve job. So we're obviously going to have to do that. And then we need to go ahead and do bearings. So, and the rods are main bearings, we need to do them since it didn't have no oil pressure for a while. So we'll throw a new set of bearings in it, and they're gonna be that deep, and we're gonna go ahead and throw the rods in it. So rods should be about 1,800 bucks for the ones that they want me to run, give or take. I'm gonna let Kevin pick all that out. So I'm gonna get with Kevin this week, and he's gonna go ahead and send me some prices on what we're looking at for parts. And I will go ahead and order, after he confirms, I will order the stuff that I already know. So I already know what timing chains I need. I know what rockers are in there, so if he wants to maintain and keep what's already in there and just, replace that stuff, then I'll go ahead and order that stuff, and I will let Kevin handle the rods and, all the technical stuff. So I got to check with him and see if we need to do head gaskets. It's all ARP, everything inside there. I don't know if you do head gaskets when you pull the heads off, or if, since there was no problems with the head gaskets, we don't do them. Got to discuss all that detail with Kevin. So I think we're going to move forward. So it's going to be good news for y'all, because I was, originally going to do the suspension and everything and probably not have this thing back out until next summer, just because of financial setbacks. But I think what we're going to do is I'm going to do some hustling on the side, and we're going to make some money, and we're going to pay down that debt, and we're going to put some more debt right back on top of it. And we are going to try to get this thing put back together ASAP. So I spoke with the wife this afternoon, and she's like, hey, we've got over X in credit. It's a really high number. Obviously we're business owners. And so she was like, I don't think we're going to be sweating any credit, but I'm still very responsible, and I don't like to owe a lot of money. It's not that we can't pay it back. I just don't like to have them bills, lingering over my head. So it sucks to be paying back, $1,000, $2,000 credit card payment every single month, to try to knock the thing back down in a handful of months. Because if you're 8 to 10 grand in the hole, if you don't want to drag that thing out a year, do the math. You've got to throw $1,000, $2,000 at it every month to get it down in half a freaking year. So it's you gotta be busting your butt. You guys, it's go time. So that's for where we're at. I figured I'd kind of update y'all so y'all know what to expect. Videos might slow down some, but we're going to, try to fix some of the issues that are here. I'm gonna get with Kevin. We're gonna go ahead and order. I want to go ahead and order the parts and physically get the parts in my hand in case anything's on back order before we get too excited about taking this motor out. So I want to go ahead and fix a couple of issues. We'll go over them as we're gonna, address them. But I just kind of want to fix a couple of issues, change a couple things, and maybe make it a little bit more user-friendly this go around. So hopefully that doesn't bore y'all too much. I don't know no other way to do these videos right here. There's just not going to be no way to get through this part of it without just straight talking to y'all. I mean there's not, it can't really show, don't have anything to show. So I'm just trying to catch y'all up to speed on where we're at with the game plan. We're about to release a new t-shirt. It's going to be an American flag, the Paint and Paper Hustle t-shirt. I'm going to try to get that up tomorrow, Monday probably. So if you hit the store underneath this video, there's a store down there. We have, the Percy t-shirts. and the new t-shirt's gonna be the American flag with the logo on it. You don't have to buy anything, but I've had some people ask me, how do I get a t-shirt, blah, 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 whatever like that. It's always listed right there. The store URL is always in the description. My email is in the description. Let's see what else is in there. And the fire suit giveaway is in the description. So the fire suit giveaway, you don't have to buy anything. All you got to do is follow the instructions I gave in the fire suit video. So at the end of this video, there will be a video card, that will pop up and say fire suit giveaway. All you gotta do is click that, go watch that video, follow the instructions, and you be entered to win the fire suit with no purchase necessary. I think that catches y'all up to speed. We'll make some grounds this week, and we're gonna try to get Percy back running. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Thanks, y'all.